set here in the hills of Austria, the Red Bull Ring, also known as the Österreich circuit, is a very fast-flowing, simple but still difficult circuit for the drivers to get their hands around here in the Skip Barbers for round 6 of the Racing Pals Skip Barber World Tour Season 3. Coming to you live from the virtual Red Bull Ring within the racing simulator Assetto Corsa Competizione. Red Bull Ring as a track has got to be one of my favourites. We get the track map up now. In reality, this is a seven-corner circuit with quite a heavy emphasis put, at least in the real world of Formula 1, heavy emphasis put on that little curve you can see up there as the camera goes black to move over to the next session. As you can see there, that curve just under the second Pirelli sign is subject of debate to people in the motorsport world, as this track map doesn't consider it as a corner. However, F1 and some other series that race at the Red Bull Ring in the real world classify it as a corner. I personally do not. However, it is really up for debate, as opinions are differing. Turn 1, which we're looking over here, the Lauda curve, named after the late great Niki Lauda as well. Can't remember what the corner was called beforehand, but today we are focused on those Skip Barber cars down there for what is going to be a very interesting, very close race. In news as well, speaking of drivers, regular starter for reservist seats, Lady Oscar, has found himself a permanent seat. Let's just get our camera down there. Lady Oscar here, having found himself a permanent seat with the Wolf Team Racing outfit, taking over from Pedro. He will be partnering Notley here, who you can see with the Ayrton Senna helmet. Lady Oscar running a Lewis Hamilton helmet for a Wolf Team Racing. A very capable driver. We have seen him battling up the front in each of his showings for Penguin Virtuosos and Penguin Aficionados for the races where he has stood in. So it'll definitely be very interesting to see what Lady Oscar can bring now in a full-time seat for the final 5 rounds of the championship. As well, Jacob the Snack has been taken over today by Feidlak, a driver who you will know from the AC series. And there's some other drivers up and down the grid as well. Sheba running for Suicidal Cookie in Next Level Racing. Dave Bartledew running for one of the teams as well. Dave Bartledew, you'll remember from last season, had the running joke of getting punted. He then dropped out of the season for Season 3. He is back. As well, you'll remember Dave Bartledew from the safety car of last season. So let's jump on board with one of the cars now on their outlap for the qualifying. And while we're doing that, let's also go over I hope it's not moved all of my stuff. Let's also quickly go over the standings. So we'll start with the drivers' standings. This is as of the Monaco Grand Prix. Darkius is heading up the championship ahead of Ed Costetta by a single point, followed by Jake the Snack with a 13-point deficit to Darkius. Suicidal Cookie with a 15-point. Then moving down, we have Melt at 96 points, Lady Oscar at 88 points, Letra Sloth at 73, Notley at 71, Subnai at 67, Crisp SC7 at 64, Deep Cuts at 61. Moving over to 12th and downwards, we have Automated Luxury for Team Vapor at 58, a 59-point deficit between 12th and 1st. Jort running in 13th with 57, Hoove in the groove on the move, it's Hoove at 52 points. Trainboy 2005 running with 51 points. Trans Baconist for QP at 46 points. Cameron Winters running in 17th with 38. Irish Clone running in 18th with 37. Ihab Abbas running in 19th with 33. Gibbon for QP running at 29 points. Sheba running at 28 points. And Sench running at 19 points. And then moving down as well, I think this is now going to be getting into the realms of reservist drivers who also do score points for Drivers' Championship and Teams' Championship, if I recall correctly. Gons for Josorius at 17 points. Yazid for the Canoers, a stand-in driver for one reserve race, if I recall correctly, at 9 points. Pedro and Trev Hummer tied for 25th at 7 points. And Cranky HD, who was a reservist driver early in the season for Dinoco, at 6 points. On to the Teams Championship, it is Spectre heading up the Teams Championship at 221 points, a 20-point gap over their close rivals and returning Teams Champions Penguin Virtuosos at 20 points. Dinoco trailing in third with a 61-point gap at 160 points, followed by Next Level Racing at 149, Penguin Aficionados at 142, Supercritical Racing at 140, Team Vapor at 119, the Canoers at 100 points exactly, QP in 9th at 87, Wolf Team Racing at 78, and Just Furious at 56. So we are on with PS Jackarowan. I've probably very mispronounced that. I believe he's running for Hooven and Groove on the move today. However, I could be wrong, but I believe I'm correct. It's not going to help me with the timetable. It seems we are on the out laps, I believe, or I think we're on the first flying lap. So we'll see the times being a 1:53, I believe I saw in the practice session before I started to stream. Today, you'll also maybe hear the fact that the microphone is a lot closer to my face now. This is due to other edits in the positioning of my swing arm, and also edits in the setup of my microphone software as well. So the first times are coming in. It's Darkest taking provisional pole for 153.1. Subnai coming through. Milt now taking the pole with 152.789. Subnai slotting into third with 153.616. Lecturer Sloth with 153.677. Dave Bartledew slotting in with a 153.998. Ed Costetter only in the 134s, but heading up the 134s. Someone has gone off very heavily at the front. Cameron Winters going through to take 9th place at the minute with a 155.944. So there is quite a margin between first and 10th as well. For some obscure reason, Gaijin Smart Launcher is asking to download stuff. That's not the time to be throttling my internet at the minute, Gaijin. I do apologize. So we're still on board with I'm gonna call him Jackarowan for today. There goes I think server lag. I believe we might have had some server problems, or it's just me having some server problems. We'll have to find out. What I am gonna do is quickly throw up my stream quality window. I've just moved. Yep, connection to the server has been lost. So I'm not sure what's happened there. We'll try and see if it's just my internet having a problem. Or if it is just me. Or if it is the server itself. It looks like it was just me, so that's handy. We're now going to load back into the server. I'm not 100% sure what had happened there. As you can see, we're loading in a very nice picture on my launch screen of a Audi LMP car. However, that's not what we're here for today. We are here for the Skip Barber Championship. For people who are interested in all the stream stuff, stream is running very well. So here we are now back on. We are now following Darkius, who is currently in provisional pole for 152.786. Milt very close behind a 152.789. So Very, very close between first and second. Darkius, as I spoke to him earlier, is looking very, very strong for a win today. He says he wants to push for the win. Ed Costetta, we weren't sure if he was coming today. There was the call out for a reservist driver for Dinoco. However, Ed Costetta does appear that he is back. The Darky is getting a 52.327 through the second sector, so we'll see how he goes through the rest of the lap. Let's jump on board with Darkius now, as you can see him coming under the Pirelli signs into the final two corners. You get the crest of the hill, 200, 150, 150. Seems like he brakes just before the line, clips the curb on the inside, doesn't clip the curb on the outside. Now, here is a commitment corner. Doesn't hook a wheel around the right-hand side of the sausage curb like I know some people do in other motorsport disciplines. Here we see across the line of 153.450, so getting very close. Let's sit with a lap for Darkius if he doesn't go off. Turn one, louder, getting the curb on the inside, getting the curb on the outside, bit of extension. Oh, quite a lot of counter steer there for Darkius. Now he's running up the back straight, very long straight. Very good opportunity to get slipstream as you go up the hill now through the corner that isn't actually a corner. Notley jumps up to fifth with 153.672 on the brakes now for a hairpin right-hander, still uphill. There's a bump in the middle of the corner as well that you have to be very careful of. Now you're on to yet another straight. Again, another great opportunity as Lady Oscar, first permanent seat race of the season, comes through to take fifth at the minute with a 153.079, heading up the 153s with just a small jump to fourth at Letra Sloth. See, going through turn 3. This section apparently isn't classified as a corner, but I still classify it as turn 3. Now into turn 4. Remember, you will start to have the track fall away as well because you're going downhill. You want to make sure you don't overcommit because it's not a long distance between yourself and the sand trap. Now into turn 5. And see, turn 5, you get the long left-hander into the quick right-hander. Then you go back up the hill again under the Pirelli sign once more. 200, 150, 100, line. Right-hander. Now the track will start to fall away again, getting the curb on the outside. The final right-hander getting the curb on the inside, hitting the sausage curb as well as Sench jumps into fifth with 153.072. Across the line, Darkius does improve at 152.475 now, putting him ahead of Milt by a wider margin, but it's still not a lot. Now we're going to jump on with Ed Costetta, currently second place in the championship, 2 points behind Darkius, so Ed Costetta is going to want to not do that. One thing that I love about a commentator, and someone said this to me earlier, and it has made me giggle. It was William Treasure, a trans-baconist who drives the QP. He said to me earlier that I have a knack for switching to people as they make a mistake. Saying that at the Brands Hatch race, you know, he was driving fine, and the one time he appeared on stream was the one time he went off and hit someone. And I didn't expect it to be as literal as that. But I'm going to say that Transbaconist very much jinxed it. Because as soon as I switched to Ed Costetta and started talking about how he needs a good performance against Darkius to keep that gap small, he hits the pit wall on the exit. Honestly, the knack that I have as a commentator to switch to people at the wrong times is honestly so beautiful. Someone's off ahead. I think that's Lady Oscar. Yes, it is. But Lady Oscar currently running in third place with a 152.891. A bit more of a push, and Lady Oscar could easily take Milt with the pace I've seen from him and the improvement as well. However, we are on with Ed Costetta at the minute, so I'm just going to quickly mute my microphone to take a drink. So I have returned from that nice bit of drink. Ed Costetta getting, I think that was 0.035 through the first sector, but I think he might have lost it on the outside of turn 3. Let's see now as he heads into turn 4. You can see Ed Costetta goes in a bit aggressive on the wheel, I've noticed. A bit of soaring through the corner. However, that might be a little bit due to netcode. Gon's in the chat swearing. Very nice. Thank you, Gons. Very happy for that. We'll see now. He's got one of, I think that's the Penguin Virtuosos car ahead. Letra Sloth is off there, just off to the left as Eric Costetta goes past through the final corner. I think he misses the apex. Takes a lot more curve than what Darkius did on his pole lap. Final corner, taking about the same amount of curve, getting out wide and then coming off before the grass. Now let's see across the line. Is Ed Costetta going to improve? Yes, he is. Slotting into second place with 152.697. So still not on Darkius's pace just yet. However, with 5 minutes and just under 40 seconds left, there's still the chance there. We'll have to see us now running up the long uphill straight. Let's see. Ed Costetta running second with his teammate running 16. Five Boys slipping up into 8th position with a 153.267. Stepping in for Jake the Snack at Spectre today. Five Boy 206. Aaron Feidlach from the ACC series. He is consistent in the AC racing. We'll see how... ACC racing. We'll keep an eye and see how he goes in the Skippies as well, as now Ed Costetta coming down. Is a very small improvement in the first sector, but improvement is improvement. The first sector is 2 corners, well, 3 corners really, and along 2 sort of long straights, one obscenely long straight and one slightly less long straight. Now through turn 4, getting the curb on the outside. Now we'll see at turn 5. Milt has also jumped Lady Oscar to take third for 152.789. I think he might have done that earlier. So let's see now through the curve. It isn't a corner. Now up on the run to the final 2. Let's see, up the hill, under the Pirelli sign. 200, 150, 100. When does he brake? Brakes on the white line, actually just a bit over. Misses the apex on the second to last corner. Now onto the last corner. Dave Bardu slotting into 5th with a 152.906. Lady Oscar taking pole for 152.408. Now what is Ed Costetta going to do as he comes across the line? Ed Costetta takes pole for 152.264. A very big jump over Lady Oscar, who just jumped Darkius on his last lap. Now Ed Costetta has jumped over and jumped into pole there. Darkius is going to be wanting a very good lap now to start as far up the grid as possible. Hopefully, I think Darkius will be thinking, hopefully in front of Ed Costetta, because there is 1 point in the Drivers' Championship, remember. 1 point separating Darkius from Ed Costetta. Ed Costetta, our last season champion. Darkius, very close second, I believe, in the championship overall. He is going to be wanting the championship this season. I can feel it. I'm sure both drivers want it. And with this race and then 4 more, I believe, on the cards, we can actually quickly throw the calendar up. I have it. There we go. We'll throw the calendar up. We're at the Red Bull Ring. This is round 6. We've got 5 races, including this one left. Silverstone will be the next round for the British Grand Prix in 2 weeks, followed by Calabui, Sebring, and Interlagos to finish off the championship. If things stay as close as they have throughout the season, we will be in for an absolutely amazing race at the end of the season. I don't get why the performance delta has shown up in AC. Here we go then, on the run. Jake the Snack in the chat. Here, Jake, how does it feel not being in the car tonight? If you're going to talk to me in chat, you can go and say that much. Let's have a look now as Darkius is running down towards turn 4. Oh, that's handy. Here we go now, into turn 4. The other thing hasn't shown up. Cameron Winters staying in 17th, and Darkius heading off of the circuit. Let's jump back, actually. Let's jump on to Fideboy 206, standing in for Jake of the Snack this evening in the Spectre Racing car, currently running in 9th with a 153.267, a small gap between himself and Subnai. The Teams Championship is of, I think, equal importance, really, to the Spectre Racing drivers. A 20-point gap between themselves and Penguin Virtuosos, so it will be very close to see how they get on with that fight with the returning Teams Champions, Penguin Virtuosos. Spectre Racing is currently heading up that fight. However, Penguin Virtuosos have been looking consistent now. I think with Jort being more available than he was at the start of the season. We'll also have to keep an eye on Lady Oscar as well. Regular reservist driver for multiple teams. Regularly the Penguins outfit, both Virtuosos and aficionados. We will have to see how Lady Oscar does throughout this half of the season. He is running quite high in the points, I believe. Running... yeah, you can see there, running at 88 points. Wow, Letra Sloth as well in that mix. Going a 152.307. A very good lap there for Letra Sloth. Dave Bartleby jumping up to 5th with 152.609. Darkius is now down to 4th, running a 152.475. We are on board with Lady Oscar, as we do switch to the outside camera up at turn 2. You can see a bit of a lock up there, getting the apex, going out wide, making as much use of the track as you can for the run down towards turn 4. Have a look, that very striking green, yellow livery. Someone will tell me if I'm right or not. Nebula livery. Through turn 4, a bit on the grass there for Lady Oscar, now on the run towards turn 5. It's not very long distance as Milt jumps into 3rd place at 152.348, pushing Darkius 4 positions behind his championship rival. Milt is about 400ths off of Letra Sloth, about just under a 10th off of Ed Costetta, so we will see how that goes now as Lady Oscar running back up now towards the final 2 corners. Darkius jumping only 1 position into 4th place at 152.363. Small gap now between the top 5 really, and then top 6, depending on how you class the gaps. Dave Bartleby coming back, having retired from last season. Retiring from the skivvies last season. He was in our safety car last round, so we'll have to have a look. Lady Oscar going through P5, so we will get the provisional results in a moment. So the provisional results of qualifying. Ed Costetta takes up the lead with Letra Sloth in 2nd, Milt in 3rd, followed by Darkius, Lady Oscar, Dave Bartleby, Sench, Subnai, Sheba, Fideboy 206, Notley, Jort, Trainboy 2005, Jacka Rowan, Hoove in the Groove on the move, it's Hoove, Automated Luxury, and Cameron Winters heading up the grid. There might have been some drivers who didn't qualify today. I'm not sure. Dons and Deep Cuts not setting any lap times, with Transbaconist apparently setting 1. Transbaconist is somewhere. Thank you, Sench, for the Prime sub as well, while I quickly grab that on the stream while I'm looking over at it. So we are just waiting for the session to come to an end and for the race session to start. Today's race, I think, with how close the top 6 are, the top 7, really the whole front of the grid, the first half, are within striking distance of each other, really. 1 lap pace isn't everything, remember. We are here for 45 minutes. Anything can happen in that time. And I think I speak for myself and the people watching at home that I'm very excited to see what the Red Bull Ring will throw out. The Red Bull Ring having not the most advanced corners in the world, not the most advanced layout, really. But definitely breeds good racing. So let's go on our grid walk here. Ed Costetta in the lead, followed by Letra Sloth. That's not the button. Milt in third, with Darkius in fourth. Lady Oscar running in fifth. Dave Bartledew in sixth. Seventh is Sench. Eighth, Subnai. Ninth is Sheba. Fideboy 206 there in 10th. Notley following after that, with Jort in 12th. Trainboy 2005 in 13th. Jack Rowan in 14th. Hoover in a Groove on the move. There, the Penguin Aficionados cars running side by side. Automated Luxury starting just behind Hoove with Cameron Winters. I think the last driver to set a qualifying time, with the non-qualifiers being Trans Baconist, Deep Cuts and Gons, who for some reason is starting behind Deep Cuts. So we'll definitely have to get a watch and a see on what happens. Let's grab Dave Bartledew into the first corner. I think as I just set my cameras up right. There we go. Just hear the rumble of the engines in the Skip Barber cars as we get ready to go racing. 30 seconds left on the clock. Here we are. Getting ready. 1 light, 2 light, 3 light, 4 light, 5 light. And we are away here at the Red Bull Ring. It seems like a bad start from Dave Bartledew. A good start there. I think that's Sench running side by side now as we run up to the first corner. 4 wide behind some 3 wide as well. Ledra Sloth has made the move for the lead off of the start. Ledra Sloth running in first. Darkius dropping back to 4th place. Now we're with Sench as he runs up on the back of Dave Bartledew towards the first corner. Have a look. You can see already 3 wide ahead as we get the onboard from Sench. All side by side, Lady Oscar and Darkius. Lady Oscar having the inside, side by side for a lot of drivers. I think this is the first time in a long time that Dave Bartledew hasn't been punted on the first lap, as that is Notley round behind as well. Drive around at turn 3. It is Notley for Wolf Team Racing. As now we are up front, we are with Darkius, who is under attack from Lady Oscar. Melt is attacking Letra Sloth behind as well. Lady Oscar having the inside at turn 4. Ed Costetta having dropped back to 6th, with Dave Bartledew making a move up to 5th. Jaw also making a move for 7th place as well. As now we're watching Dave Bartledew, who's going to have the outside line. Can he sweep round though? Ed Costetta is poking his nose inside somewhat. Ed Costetta not being one to make rash moves. Fideboy 206 has moved up ahead of Cameron Winters for 13th as well. Now Ed Costetta is attacking Dave Bartledew as they run towards the final 2 corners, towards turn 6. Ed Costetta is on the inside. Remember, he has 1 point between himself and the lead of the championship leader, Darkius. Ed Costetta gets through at turn 6, now into turn 7. Dave Bartledew is now under attack from Jort as well as we come up to round the first lap. There's Ed Costetta off on the grass at the final corner as well. He is going to have lost speed now towards the first corner. Jort might be able to take this opportunity, as Jort will get the inside line. Jort getting the inside line beautifully. Jort, is that Milt round? Milt is round. Ledra Sloth goes off as well. Ed Costetta moves down now to 6th. Lady Oscar is now in the lead of this race. So ahead, you can see they're 3 wide into turn 2. Jort, Lady Oscar, and Darkius. As Darkius gets a tap, Darkius goes round. So does Lady Oscar. The championship leader is round. And there's one of the, I think that's one of the Team Vapor cars collecting Darkius as well. As someone else collects Darkius as well. I think that might be Rob Phillips. It was. Darkius gets collected by 2 cars, moving down to 18th position after a collision running 3 wide with Jort and Lady Oscar. Jort getting out of that one. However, Jort and Dave Bartle are now in 1st and 2nd, with Ed Costetta running in 3rd. Also in that mix, 5x206 moved up to 4th, and so did Cameron Winters moved up to 5th. All of that happened in like a matter of a second. Now we're on board with Cinch. You can see a train of cars ahead. Lady Oscar getting a bit of grass on the outside. There's Automated Luxury getting a bit loose on the rear as well. I wasn't sure who collected Darkius the first time. It was one of the Team Vapor cars. It might have been Automated Luxury. However, it could have been his teammate. Lady Oscar now, you can see ahead, making the move for 8th, making the move for 7th up the inside of Jacka Rowan as well. Let us jump on board with Lady Oscar as he's now going to run up the back of Sheba. Lady Oscar has got pace. The lap times are coming in at 155.6 for Jort. Lady Oscar now going to the inside on the run to the first corner. They will be side by side. Lady Oscar getting the braking done later and getting through now. Lady Oscar running in 6th, now onto the back of Cameron Winters, who went wide at the first corner and had to take a trip across the grass. Darkius has pitted in as well. I'm not sure if that's a retirement or if it is for an actual pit stop. However, that will be the weekend I think that Darkius wouldn't want. There's 2 drop rounds, if I recall correctly, in the Skip Barber Championship, which means your worst 2 rounds are not counted points-wise. This will allow you to miss either 2 events or have 2 DNFs. And I think last time when we spoke to Darkius at the Monaco Grand Prix, he was talking about how he had already used his drop rounds. So that's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out in the grand scheme of things. As we are still following Lady Oscar, your top 3 is Jort, Dave Baltadou, and Ed Costetta. We're dropping behind now. Jacka Rowan has made a move on Sheba for 7th place. Here is Sheba. Some damage to the side of that Waifu Hunters Next Level Racing machine. Team name, I believe, is subject to change from Next Level Racing to Waifu Hunters. Now you can see Sheba is very much on the rear of Jacka Rowan. Darkius has left the pits, so I believe that was just for a pit stop. However, he is 37 seconds behind Rob Phillips, who did collect him on the outside of that turn 3 collision. Sheba getting up the inside, but looks like they're going to run side by side to the last corner. Cinch also getting involved in the mix as well. Just behind Jacka Rowan, losing the position. However, now further back, Automated Luxury is under pressure from his teammate Deep Cuts. However, he does have the draft on Cinch as well. As you can also see ahead, Jacka Rowan making the move up the inside as well. There is contact there between Sheba and Jacka Rowan. A very big lockup from one of the 2 cars. Automated Luxury loses some time now as we are on board with Sheba. Looking ahead, you can see Jacka Rowan and Cinch running side by side. Jacka Rowan losing the position up the straight and slotting back in. Sheba losing a position to Deep Cuts as well. Now, what is Jacka Rowan going to do? On the inside line, is Cinch going to shut the door? Yes, he is. Deep Cuts maybe having a look around the outside as well. Yes, Deep Cuts also gets through at turn 3. Now we're on board with Milt. He went round at the first corner under attack from Letra Sloth. Letra Sloth started very high up. Both drivers did, and they were running very high up. A collision, however, saw an issue there, as I think that might be... Was that Sheba ahead? Yes, Sheba ahead, having a very big lockup into turn 4. Now, though, you can see behind, Letra Sloth is attacking Sheba. Sheba getting the inside through the 4th corner. Have a look now. Sheba getting the run. Is Sheba going to be able to make a move on Milt? No, as there is contact between Shiva and Ledger Sloth. Ledger Sloth heads off the circuit, comes back on, collides with his teammate. Evasive action there for Hoove as well. Ledger Sloth hit his teammate Subnai on the rejoin at turn 5. The first rule of motorsport is do not hit your teammate. And what's just happened there? Ledger Sloth came back on and hit his teammate. Now we're with Automated Luxury, who's under attack from Milt. Milt getting to move on the straight now. A Penguin Aficionados car of Jackarowan. Stepping in for Crisp SC7. We are on board with Automated Luxury there as Milt goes up the inside. Jackarowan goes very deep. Automated Luxury actually has to slow up. Now we're making the move up to Ed Costetta. This is the top 3 battle for the lead. Jork leading it up with Ed Costetta currently running in 2nd or 3rd, depending on what bit you look at. And Dave Bartledo there getting 2nd place around the 3rd corner. However, I'm sure Ed Costetta will start looking back at Dave Bartledo. Further back as well, Ledger Sloth has gone into the pit lane after that collision. Very big collision between himself and Subnai. Probably not what they would have wanted for the weekend. Sometimes these things do just happen in motorsport. Now we're with Deep Cuts. It's a free car battle. Deep Cuts, Sench and Cameron Winters. Deep Cuts in the Team Vapor car as he has a collision with Sench and goes off at turn 4. Losing time and Cameron Winters gaining the position there. Now you can see ahead, Sench is going to be under attack from Milt. Sench getting the inside line, however that might not be the best of thing depending on how side by side they are. Milt getting more speed onto turn 5, however can Sench keep the inside line? No, Milt edges ahead now. Deep Cuts going round to attempt the outside, not making it work for now. We are now on the back of Sench's car. You can see, I think that was Deep Cuts taking a bit of grass there on the outside of turn 5. Now into turn 6. You can also see, let's jump ahead now. Milt on Cameron Winters. Milt getting the move at the final corner there. Very quick, very simple move there. However, now Cameron Winters will get more speed through the final corner, and that train is coming. Cameron Winters getting through. Are they going to go 3 wide into the first corner? Sench, Cameron Winters and Milt into the first corner. 3 wide. All the drivers get through. Sench loses out on a position to Deep Cuts as well, having the inside line getting tighter and tighter and tighter as it closed away. Now Cameron Winters has lost a position to Deep Cuts on the run towards the second corner, through the fake second corner, now onto the real second corner. Cameron Winters will get the outside line. However, Deep Cuts might be able to take a peek up the inside. No, not quite. Deep Cuts losing out on the position to Sench. You can see now we're following Sench. He's on the back of Cameron Winters. Just under 3/10 separating the 2 drivers. And it is coming down now as they run into turn 3, sorry. We're now on board with Deep Cuts, attacking Sench once again into turn 4 and turn 5. Sench getting the inside line. We're now with TS Jack of Rowan, who is right on the gearbox of Deep Cuts. Oh, Deep Cuts getting forced out wide. However, he will get the inside through the right-hand kink at turn 5. Now, how is Sench going to manage here? He has got Jack of Rowan on the inside. He's also got Deep Cuts there as well. So he's just stuck behind. Has to slow up early because Deep Cuts starts to slow up. Jort setting his own personal best of 153.6. Now we're with Automated Luxury, who has been opened up onto the rear of Sench with Trainboy 2005 just about following behind. However, the last corner can lose you so much speed. Now we're on board. You can see once again 3 wide. Sench is on the inside as Trainboy 2005, who we are riding with, gets the outside line. Let's see what happens ahead. Sench had issues here on the previous lap, getting tighter and tighter. However, Sench gets through. Jack of Rowan loses a position, and so too does Automated Luxury at the first corner. We are now with Automated Luxury here. As you can see that pack ahead, we're going to jump back on board with Automated Luxury just to get a good view. It's a 4-car pack. It's 2 wide up ahead. No, now we're back with Ed Costetta actually cinched behind in that fight, making a move up to 8th on deep cuts. Jack Rowan losing a position down to 11th. We're now with Ed Costetta, who is now fighting for the lead. Lady Oscar in the background there going off as well. Might have been a collision. No. However, Lady Oscar will now be under pressure from Fideboy 206. Aaron Fidlack driving the number 65 machine today. Oh, Trainboy 2005 getting off there at turn 4 as well. We are with deep cuts. You can just see how close that Canoa's car is there of Trainboy 2005. This is for 10th position. Or through turn 5. Now running up towards turn 6. The gap between 9th and between 9th and 12th really is just over 2 seconds. Now we're with Ed Costetta. Is he going to be able to make a move on Jaw into the first corner? No. Ed Costetta, very conservative with his overtakes. He makes sure that if he is going for a move, the move will stick now as he switches back to the outside. Ed Costetta on Jaw. As they run up towards the second corner, the gap is so close. Ed Costetta is getting the inside line. Jort defending the apex there, actually making Ed Costetta slow up a little by the look of it. Now Dave Bartledew was on the back, however he got a bit loose. We're now riding on the back of the blue Dinoco car of second place in the championship. I think he is going to be the championship leader of this race as well. Dark is having that collision earlier in the race, about 5 minutes ago, where he dropped down to 20th. Had to pit. I think the damage might have been a bit too heavy. We will have to see. In the end, we'll see if we can get Darkius and Sloth in for interview if we have time at the end. Now with Jack Rowan, all deep cuts going very deep at turn 3. Deep cuts going deep at turn 3. Sorry, I'm amusing myself. Rainbow 2005 moving up into 9th place. Deep cuts up the inside. Oh, it's so close between the cars. We're now on with Automated Luxury. Trainbow 2005 gets tapped. There has to be some avoidance. Deep cuts making the move into the position. However, it has opened them up to Nopley now as Trainbow 2005 drops down to 14th. It looked like to me that Deep Cuts just got a little tap on the rear left tyre of Trainboy 2005, sent him round. Out of that as well, Jack Rowan lost a couple of positions just due to the fact that he was trailing Trainboy at the end of it. Nowhere really he could go. He did attempt the avoidance, however, with the speed that you are going and just how quick you move towards a car that's going sideways, really it was damage limitation at that point. We are now on with Nopley, half a second separating himself from Deep Cuts. They all go wide at turn 1, however it looks like Nopley gets the better run now towards turn 2. Nopley making a move there. He might actually get the move done before the second corner. It has said the move is done, but we'll have a look now as they're running almost side by side, I think. Yeah, they are running side by side. Nopley will get the inside line. Have a look. Nopley makes the move stick. We've seen a lot of attempts of moves at turn 2. However, they don't always stick. You can also see in the background, you can see Automated Luxury under attack from Jack Rowan. This is for 11th place. Nopley and Deep Cuts are still duking it out for 10th as well. Jack Rowan getting the inside at turn 3, making the move very nicely against Automated Luxury. We'll have to see what happens later on as we are going to jump back up now to second place. The battle for second place between Dave Bartledew and Ed Costetta. Let's have a look. Ed Costetta getting the inside line through turn 6. Let's see what happens now through turn 7. They're still side by side. Dave Bartledew looking like he gets the speed. We're now on board with Ed Costetta, who's now got Lady Oscar behind as well. Lady Oscar now trying to make the move up the start finish straight. makes the move before the first corner. Ed Costetta moving down into 4th place. Dave Barber up to 2nd and Lady Oscar up to 3rd. However, Lady Oscar gets a worse run through the first corner than Ed Costetta. We're now on the rear of that Wolf Team Racing car. Let's have a look. You can see Ed Costetta already disappearing. Let's have a look now. And you can just see Ed Costetta disappearing. However, Lady Oscar might be able to get the line into turn 2. Have a listen. Let's have a see. Ed Costetta might get a bit more straight line speed. No, Lady Oscar has made the move stick for now. However, Ed Costetta will be coming back. Just under 27 minutes left of today's race. We are watching a battle for 3rd place between Ed Costetta and Lady Oscar now through turn 3. As Darkius just goes fastest there as well, 152.098. I just caught there as I was taking another drink. Let's have a look now. Lady Oscar just over half a second separating himself from Ed Costetta. We're now watching on the rear camera of that Wolf Team Racing machine. Just so close between them. The gap as well between Lady Oscar and Dave Bartleby is decreasing. Dave Bartleby 2 tenths faster in the last lap. Apparently, however, that gap has come down the same time as Jaw in 1st as well, so he is keeping pace. We're now going to jump back with Subnai, who is running alongside Rob Phillips into turn 6. Let's have a look there. Subnai getting the move very nicely up the inside at turn 6. All said and done already. Even before the corner, very good move to see. I have, however, seen some people have a bit of an issue running an overtake through the second to last corner, then just not taking the last corner correctly and losing so much time and so much speed, so many corners. Even though there are 7 on this circuit, it is crucial that you get all of them right. We're now with Sench, who's running on the back of Cameron Winters. This is for 7th place. Half a second separating the 2 drivers. Let's have a look. That gap is extending, so I think... Oh, no, now it's decreasing. We're now with Rob Phillips again towards turn 2 on the back of Letra Sloth. Sub Knight. Oh, we have now switched to Lady Oscar, who's battling on the rear of Dave Bartleby. However, you can also see Ed Costetta is in the back there as they go through turn 5, now on the run to turn 6. Let's have a look. Ed Costetta will take any opportunity to pounce. Dave Bartleby is ahead for now. Let's have a look. Braking Lady Oscar, so much more aggressive on the brakes. Taking a very late line there. They're going to run 2 wide through the final corner. Dave Bartleby will get the move done. Now Ed Costetta takes the move as well up the inside, taking the regular racing line as Lady Oscar tried to go down the inside. Now Ed Costetta has the speed advantage on Dave Bartleby as they run towards the first corner. Ed Costetta will get the inside line. Lady Oscar goes for it as well. Dave Bartleby has to go wide. It's now side by side. Ed Costetta has moved up to 2nd. It's now just under a 4-second gap, just over, just under, depending on when you look, between Ed Costetta and Jaw. Have a look now. Dave Bartleby on the outside. Lady Oscar on the inside. Side by side. Who's going to get the better launch? That's the question. Dave Bartleby gets the better launch down now towards turn 3. See how close the 2 drivers are to each other now as they run to turn 3. Lady Oscar's going to get the inside. We've seen this move so often during this race, and it seems to work a lot of the time. However, it hasn't worked now as Lady Oscar gets the back a bit loose. Has to brake. You can see the front left tyre lock up there. Oh, Dave Bartleby goes deep at turn 4. Lady Oscar seizes the opportunity to go up the inside and get the cut back there. Very good move for Lady Oscar. Now we'll see him unleashed on the back of Ed Costetta. The cars are almost sideways as they come through turn 6. And now through turn 7, you can just see that they don't look like they have grip. But apparently they do have grip when that happens. And as I say that, Lady Oscar gets a little bit of a twitch. The gap between Ed Costetta and Jort, second and first, has come down by just over two tenths. However, it does look like it's extending as they run up the straight towards the second corner. Here is Jort, your current race leader. You can just see we do get to see the gap between them. You can see it forming on the road. However, it's about 3.9 seconds between Ed Costetta and Jort. So Jort has got that little bit of breathing room. However, 21.5 minutes left of the race. We will have to wonder if that will start to come down. As we're now back with Sench. 3 tenths separating himself from Cameron Winters. Let's have a look. As they go through the second corner, they are basically nose to tail. Okay, yeah, they are nose to tail. Cameron Winters gets a worse launch. Sench there, swerving towards him a little bit. And Sench makes a move after turn 3, now on the run to turn 4. So that's Sench for 7th place there. Not sure what happened. I heard a bit of horn. Not sure if Cameron Winters got a worse line out of turn 2. And just had to slow up a bit. Now we're with Sheba, running in Suicidal Cookie's car this weekend. Turn 3, up the inside, trying to hold it against Automated Luxury. Does the move stick? That's the question. Yes, it looks like the move does stick. However, Automated Luxury is going to get the inside. Oh, lock up there for Automated Luxury. Forces Sheba to go wide. They are now side by side as they head towards turn 5. Sheba getting back ahead. However, Automated Luxury is going to have the inside once again. Oh, Sheba staying ahead for now, but Automated Luxury is very close to the rear of that car. Well, you can just see the sliding there for Automated Luxury. Through the final 2 corners. We're now going to jump back to Trans-Baconist. William Treasure. So let's hope he doesn't have a crash here. He's trying up the inside of Hoove and a Groove on the move. It's Hoove. Ooh, Hoove's just a bit too far ahead for the move. However, the gap was about 2 tenths. We'll have a look again as further up the field. Milt has made a move at turn 3 against Fideboy 206 for 5th place. So that's a 5.5 second gap now between Milt and Dave Bartledo. Ed Costetta, the gap up front, has come down to 3.3 seconds as well. Darkius is still running in 19th after that collision. So the current championship leader might be having a weekend to forget, really. And now with deep cuts on the back of Notley. 3 tenths just over, separating the 2 drivers. We'll have a look as they head towards turn 3. And on the brakes. Oh, deep cuts has to go very deep. It hits the grass, goes round there. That's deep cuts round at turn 3. Sheba gets through. Automated Luxury gets through as well. I'm not sure anyone else comes around. No. However, behind, we've just noticed a battle between Trainboy 2005 and Jack Rowan. Have a look as they head into turn 4. Trainboy 2005 is on the inside. Oh, getting very loose. There is contact. Tyre to side pod. However, both drivers do keep it going. Trainboy 2005 is going to get the inside line now. Is he going to make the move stick? You get put on the outside through this little right-hand kink. No, not quite making the move stick just yet. But you can see just a tyre there before it disappears. Now on the run towards turn 6. Up the inside is Jack Rowan. Is Trainboy 2005 going to be able to take the speed advantage now? Yes, he is. Trainboy 2005 makes the move up to 13th place against Jack Rowan, but loses the back at the final corner. keeps it going, but is now going to have lost a lot of speed as they've run down the start-finish straight across the line. Very close between the two drivers now towards the first corner. Jack Rowan will get the inside line. Trainboy 2005 will be on the outside towards the straight. They are still side by side through the first corner. Trainboy 2005 just edging ahead for now. We are back on board with Jack Rowan as they run up to the second corner. Oh, switching to the inside line. Jack Rowan getting the inside. We've seen that move attempted a few times this race. It's been a very risky move. However, when it works, it does work very well. And this, sadly, for TS Jack Rowan, was one of the times where it didn't work to plan. However, that gap is still quite small. 3/10 just over, and it is starting to come down as they head towards the third corner. We're now back up front with Lady Oscar. This is the battle for third place. The gap between the leaders has come down by about 6/10 over the past few laps. It's now at 3.1. Lady Oscar gaining inside into the first corner. Very good move there on Dave Bartledew, but I'm sure he'll want to come back. We are on the rear of that Wolf Team car. You can see the Nebula design. On the inside now goes Dave Bartledew. They do make a lot of contact through turn 3. A lot of side panel. I think Dave Bartledew cedes the position. Yes, however, they will still be running side by side. Milt is also getting involved in the background as well. Well, look, let's have a watch. The gap is about half a second between the two drivers. 15 minutes left in today's race. Gap is now 1.1 seconds. So Lady Oscar has extended quite heavily against Dave Bartledew. However, Milt is also catching up in the background as well. We're now jumping back with TS Jack Rowan right again on the rear of Trainboy 2005. They head through the fifth corner. Oh, very close. Nose to tail here as they head through turn 6. Now through turn 7. Is Jack Rowan going to take a look up the inside? No. However, hits that sausage curb on the inside. We have seen it unsettle the cars over the course of the race. We're now going to drop back to P19 at Darkius, who had that huge collision earlier in the race, getting collected by two cars, going for a pit in. Now, Darkius is our current championship leader. He will be on the attack of Transbaconist. The gap is 4/10. Transbaconist, while not in a direct title fight with Darkius, points are points, and you want to finish as high up as possible. As they go through the first corner, Transbaconist missing the apex there. Darkius going off track, but not as much. We'll have a look how they go towards the second corner. Darkius getting back into the slipstream now to the inside as they run up towards turn 2. Darkius getting the move done early by the sounds of it. Yes, Darkius making the moves up. So that's Darkius now from 4th, I think 4th in qualifying to 18th. Or as we catch Jack Rowan just taking a bit of a slide there outside of turn 3. And now with Nopley on the rear of Cinch as they head through turn 6. These cars are just so closely matched. A lot of drivers, I believe, use the same setup provided by Ed Costetta, the local alien of the Skip Barbers. Ed Costetta will definitely be running in the top of the championship after this race, even if he gets second. I believe there was a 1 point gap separating the two, and at the minute there's 16 places separating himself from his main championship rival. As into turn 2 comes this train of cars, being headed up by Cameron Winters in the blue Danoka car. Cinch is in the orange Next Level Racing / Waifu Hunters machine, and Notley is in the, we're going to call that green Wolf Team Racing car in the back. He is watching this unfold, maybe looking for any opportunity to pounce on any of the cars ahead. And this is why my channel has to be marked as mature audiences. Oh, as Cameron Winters goes deep at turn 5. Cinch gets the move up to 7th. Notley getting the move up to 8th. And Cameron Winters dropping back to 9th. Now going to jump up to this battle. Jaw on Ed Costetta. Ed Costetta on Jaw. Actually, I better say instead. Let's see as they head through turn 2. The gap is just over 6/10. However, it will start to come down on the straight. Ed Costetta within drafting range, I believe, of Jaw. Does seem to be that way as the gap comes down. 5.5 as they head into turn 3. Now it's under 5/10. They're getting very close together. This will be the battle for the lead. This gap has been coming down lap after lap with just under 9.5 minutes left of today's race. We will have to see. Will Ed Costetta be able to make the move? It is looking likely. However, Jaw, I'm sure, after leading the majority of this race, will not want to give it up easily. We are now on board with Ed Costetta using the T-Cam. We're going to have a watch of his inputs. Jaw going very wide at the final corner, taking a bit of grass on the left-hand side as well. You can see Ed Costetta getting ready. However, I'm sure a move into the first corner won't happen. A 4/10 difference in the lap time on the last lap as well. Now the gap is 3/10 as they head through the first corner. Jaw is going to need to be nailing those apexes now and absolutely getting the perfect line through the track. Now switching to the outside line for turn 3. Ed Costetta on Jaw. Let's have a look. Who is going to get the position? Jaw is on the inside. Ed Costetta on the outside as they head into turn 2. It's going to be a case of who gets the better getaway. I think Jaw does for now, but Ed Costetta comes back on track. They are side by side now as they run down towards turn 3. Jaw can hold the inside line here if he can just keep his nose ahead of Ed Costetta. They are very much side by side into the braking zone. Jaw is getting the inside line. Who is going to make it out in front? Is it going to be Jaw or is it going to be Ed Costetta? Jaw now getting the outside line into turn 4. Sweeping around, trying to defend the apex. Now there is not that gap there. Ed Costetta has to drop back now towards turn 5. Jort stays ahead for now through the second sector. With 7.5 minutes left of the race. The average lap time looking to be around 1:53, 1:54. Ed Costetta getting the inside line now on the second to last corner. Jort having a lock up. They are side by side now. We'll see. We'll have a watch from the T-Cam. Ed Costetta having to slow up quite a lot at the final corner to get through it safely against Jort. The gap is now 6/10, but it will start to come down once again. Or the gap has extended to a second between Ed Costetta and Jort. Ed Costetta doing some of the most in-depth attacking I think I have seen from him this season. That was an amazing fight to watch, and it is only on hold for now. I'm sure it will be coming back with just over 6 minutes left of today's race. I'm sure for Jort, this will be one of the longest 6 minutes of his Skip Barber career at Racing Pals. There's a yellow flag behind as well. TS Jack Rowan has gone off. I'm not sure where. I think Trainboy 2005 got in an incident as well, as he's down in 18th. Darkius from 4th down to 20th, stone dead last, is now back up to 14th. Ed Costetta has been driving an absolute blinder of a race today. He has been very much under pressure from multiple drivers throughout today's race. And now he's going to be putting Jort back under pressure at the final corner. Now, Ed Costetta will get the slipstream, but will it be close enough to make a move at the first corner? I'm not too sure. The car is getting closer, but I don't think it's going to happen yet. No, Ed Costetta stays behind through the first corner. Let's have a look now through the second. Well, on the run up to the second, which takes about a week. Have a look. Ed Costetta going back to the outside. Jort will get the inside once again, but now Ed Costetta has an even bigger speed advantage on Jort as they head into turn 2. It will once again be a case of who gets the better getaway. We are back on board with Ed Costetta, who has to take a bit of grass. Now they'll be side by side once again. We were here just 2 laps ago. Ed Costetta and Jort side by side running down to the third corner. Oh, very late on the brakes for Ed Costetta. Jort getting the inside line once more. Who's going to get ahead now? Ed Costetta dropping back once again. Jort holding the position, but the gap is under 2 tenths now. Is Ed Costetta going to take a look up the inside at turn 4? Turn 3. Turn 4. Turn 4. No, he's not. Through turn 5. Jort holds on for another lap. It's reminding me of the stories I heard from Milt, Jort's teammate, of getting overtaken by Ed Costetta on the last lap. This could happen again, but in reality it's the other Penguin Virtuosos car. Ed Costetta on the inside at turn 5. He now gets ahead. Jort losing the lead of the race, but now he will be right on the back of Ed Costetta, I feel. Jort has led this race pretty much from beginning to end. Is he going to be able to attack Ed Costetta, returning Drivers' Champion? As Jort goes very aggressive on the brakes at turn 1. Goes out wide, and Ed Costetta makes full capitalization of that, really. As now they'll be running side by side towards the second corner. Jort dropping back now. However, who's going to get the inside? Who's going to get the outside? We've seen the inside work sometimes. However, the outside has also worked as well if you can get the better getaway. Jort going very deep at turn 2. I think that might be... No. Not sure what happened there. Did Ed Costetta wait up? Was there contact? Ed Costetta seemingly didn't overtake away from that one. Ed Costetta, was he going to get the inside into the third corner? Ooh, that was close. No, it doesn't look like it was to be. We are back on board with Ed Costetta now. Jort will get the inside line into turn 4. Oh, Ed Costetta goes very deep. But can he use that going deep to get a speed advantage now towards the 5th corner? No, he can't. Jort is back ahead by just under 4 tenths, really. 1 minute and 50 seconds left. This lap and maybe one more. This could be the final lap, next lap. I think it will be. Final lap. Next lap. So, Jort will have to hold on for one more lap with Ed Costetta absolutely breathing down his neck, hammering every apex and taking every opportunity that he has been able to fight against Jort. Have a look as they head towards the first corner. This will be the final lap. Ed Costetta very close to the rear of Jort. Through the first corner, Ed Costetta gets a better line, has to counter steer. Jort goes off, but gets back on ahead. Let's have a look now as they run towards the second corner. Ed Costetta taking as much draft as he can from that Penguin Virtuosos machine. Not machine. What's a machine? Now towards turn 2. Jort is on the inside. Ed Costetta is on the outside. Big lock up from Jort there, trying to get as late on the brakes as possible. Gets ahead. Ed Costetta having now another gap towards himself and Jort. No! Ed Costetta takes the lead. Jort is now on the back foot of the final lap. Where can Jort make the overtake? Can he make the overtake? The inside at turn 3. Down the inside goes Jort, getting ahead of Ed Costetta, but Ed Costetta gets the cutback because Jort goes deep. My throat hurts. I think for Jort that is game, set and match though. He held Ed Costetta back. But so long, he kept Ed Costetta at bay for so long. That was definitely something to watch there. As now Lady Oscar will be attacking Jort around the final few corners. And now coming down through the final corner. Let's quickly get there. And across the line to take the win comes Ed Costetta with Jort in second and Lady Oscar coming through in third. Dave Barber coming in fourth with Milton fifth. With the next car to come through, Fireboy 206. What a race that was today. And as Kieran has said in the chat, 2 days, Ed Costetta wins. And he loves it. Kieran, you probably don't even know who Ed Costetta actually is. But I'll let him know in an interview that he's got a fan. As we'll do as we always do. So we're going to jump into my my commentary booth channel. I have put out the interview requests there. And now just waiting for the drivers to come through. So your provisional results, keep in mind there is post-race stewing, is Ed Costetta, Jort, Lady Oscar, Dave Bartledew, Milt, Fireboy 206. Notley, Sench, Cameron Winters, Sheba, Deep Cuts, Automated Luxury, Subnight, Darkius, Rob Phillips, Hooven and Groove on the Move, Trainboy 2005, Jackaro and Transbaconist, and Letra Sloth. And we are going to get, first off, Ed Costetta into the commentary booth. Oh, hello Ed. First place, that was looking a bit on edge there at the end, attacking Jort for so long. How was it for you?
Oh, that was a blast. Man, I had a lot of fun.
You also, and I said I'd say this in the chat, you seem to have picked up a random fan in the Twitch chat as well. And Kieran has come in pretty much every time he's seen you racing, and he's like, yeah, go ahead, woo!
Oh, cool. Shout out to them.
You'll also, I think after that race, you'll be in the lead of the championship as well. Darkius not having a good round this round. Four races left after this. How are you feeling for the rest of the season?
It sucks that Darkius had a bad day. I saw that there was, the first few laps were quite interesting. But so sorry he got wrapped. It looked like he got wrapped up in one of those. But it looks like it's going to come down to the wire, to be honest. I don't know where he finished, but it'll give me at least a little bit of a buffer where I can breathe a little bit easier. But he's been super quick. I think he had the fastest lap today. So got to watch out for him.
I also saw earlier in the week you weren't going to come to begin with. I'm not sure why. I'm going to bet that you were so happy that you were able to make it today with that victory.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't miss it. It was with the 2.4 hour race yesterday, or 2.2, whatever it was, and then Mother's Day today in the U.S. I had to call in a few favors with the wife, but she graciously allowed me to run. So happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there, by the way.
Awesome, Ed. Thank you for coming and speaking to me, mate. I'll let you go now. Good luck for the rest of the season. Hopefully we'll see a few more good battles.
But yeah, thanks, man. I'm looking forward to watching the replay, and fantastic race by Jort. Congratulations on the second. That was so much fun racing him. And then Lady Oscar also fought back a few times from like 5 or 6 seconds back and almost got us there at the end. So they did really good too. So thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, Ed. I'll let you go now. Thank you for speaking to me. Goodbye. So that was Ed Costetta coming through to take the win. Let's get now into the commentary booth. The man who just lost out on the final lap, Jort, second place after running in first for so long.
Yeah, quite painful. I mean, it's quite the curse now. Every time any of the Penguins is in first, Ed always comes down to the last lap and overtakes us.
You were, I can't remember where you qualified. I think it was 12th, wasn't it?
Yeah, I had one lap in qualifying at the very start where I, at least that was valid, and afterwards I couldn't set a valid lap anymore. So yeah, it was kind of stupid. But I had such a good first lap where I went to P5 immediately, I believe, and then all the chaos happened in front of me, and I could just go away. So it was, yeah, quite cool. But yeah, it's still really disappointing.
And I wanted to ask you actually, you were you had conflict in the start of the season with like schedule. Lady Oscar stepped in quite a lot. Now he's got a permanent seat. Does that mean you're here for the rest of the season, or is Penguins gonna have to look for a new reserve driver?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be available for all of the races yet. I think I might miss one more, but it's like completely up to how busy it's gonna be with university and stuff. But I hope I can be there for every race, because if every race is gonna be like this, it's gonna be awesome.
And one thing, the final thing I wanted to ask, Penguins being the returning team's champion, 20-point gap at the last race between yourselves and Spectre. Do you think you're going to be able to take this year's team title as well?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Milt's form for the past few races has been amazing. He's been on par with Ed for most of the races. I mean, how he's climbed back from almost last, I believe, this race to P5 again, just setting 52s everywhere. It was just so wild to see that. But yeah, and if I can perform like this as well, which I haven't been able to do yet, I think we can easily take the championship.
Awesome, Jort. Thank you for speaking to me, mate. I'll let you go now. Good luck for the rest of the season. Hopefully we'll see you for each race.
Yeah.
See you later. Have a good evening.
See you later, man.
And that was Jork coming through in second. We're now going to put a voice to the name as Kiki wanted. We are going to get Lady Oscar into the channel. Well, hello, Oscar. Your first race in a permanent seat. How are you settling in?
Not so happy. Could have been a lot better.
Did you finish, I think, third in the end? Quite heavy, quite up the field in the points. What do you think? On the top step next race?
Pardon me, could you repeat the question? I can barely hear you.
Oh, you got third this round, I believe.
Okay, yeah.
Do you think you're going to be on the top step next race, up in the top points as well as we go through the season?
Well, I hope I wasted a possible victory because today my PC froze and I lost 4 seconds off the track and I finished a few seconds behind the leader. So could have been a victory. We will see the next race.
Five rounds left. You were in. You drove quite a lot of reserve seats. How do you think your chances are in the championship?
Well, if I manage to finish on the podium every race, maybe with few mistakes of my opponents, maybe I could make it, but I do not think so.
Awesome. Thank you for coming and speaking to me. I've actually run out of questions, surprisingly for once. I'm so surprised. I have some written down and they've run out. Good luck for the next round and the rest of the season as well. Good to see you in a permanent seat as well. We follow you a lot during the races when you're a reservist, so hopefully, fingers crossed for the rest of the season, we'll see you on the top step.
Thank you. Next to you.
And that was Lady Oscar coming through in third place. First permanent seat race for Wolf Team Racing. And that will be all from myself, Husky, and Racing Pals for the 6th round of the Racing Pals Skip Barber Series 3 World Tour here at Red Bull Ring. Join me in 2 weeks when we'll take the Skip Barbers to Silverstone. Join me next week when we'll be taking the GT3 cars to Monza, I believe. Until then, I've been Husky. You can go and watch all of the previous seasons, the previous season of Skip Barber and also the last races of this season from Skip Barber and Assetto Corsa over on my YouTube channel at That Husky. Thank you and good night.